So the episode begins with the transporting the captor, and then the two Jedi show up and announce they're Jedi, and they want to see the caps. And we have a captain of the rebel ship that doesn't believe them, and is kind of a real bonehead. He's like, "Oh well, I'll let them board. I'm going to call their bluff and meet them. Take my security team down there and meet them and call them out." You don't know how dangerous these people could actually be. First off, even if you don't believe they're Jedi, I mean, I wouldn't. The fact that they were saying they're Jedi coming to see the prisoner, I wouldn't buy that either. But I would assume that they could be dangerous. So of course, he reads them. He calls them out that he thinks they're Imperials imposters and orders them to surrender. And then they pull out their lightsabers and start slashing everybody up because who didn't see that coming? Waha! So then Baylan frees Morgan and then talks about how she got caught by Ahsoka and Ahsoka's looking for the map. Still a pretty solid opening though. I mean, even though the rebels are always dummies in these shows. Then we cut to Ahsoka at a temple, and she does a little lightsaber force thing where she cuts a hole in the temple and falls down, and she has to solve a Tomb Raider puzzle to get a. Which I'm fine with that. She uses the Force to find that. And the thing comes out of the ground. I think a lot of people say it's very Fifth Element shaped ish. But inside the dirt, there's a ball, which is a star map. Which, here's where the hate tubers get something wrong again. You go, oh, it's the Force Awakens. It's a map to Grand Admiral Thrawn. No, it's not. That's not exactly what it is. What was the other part? Oh, well. How do they know? Well, somebody put the map there. I mean, somebody knows where Grand Admiral Thrawn is. They put the map. No, that's not what it is either. It's a map on how to get to a different galaxy. Just happens to be that's the galaxy where Grand Admiral Thrawn was sent to. It's not a map directly to him. It's a map of how to get to that galaxy. It's a map from an ancient culture that had somehow managed to do that. So I assume, it was found in a Night Sisters temple, but it was hinted that it may belong to this other older ancient civilization that is mentioned later on in the next episode. It may be from that other galaxy. Maybe they came here and then they left a map on how to get back. So it's a map from an ancient civilization on how to get to this other galaxy. And what the path is you have to take to get there. Not specifically a map to Thrawn himself. But it's bad writing. No, maybe because you guys don't know how to pay attention because you're too busy wanting to hate it. I digress again. It's going to be probably a long video. Sorry. So she finds the map. Then she gets jumped by some HK droids, some assassin droids, and so she has to fight them off. They end up doing a self-destruct thing, and all of them they combine is like a massive explosion. So luckily, she's able to board her ship to escape. And here's where one of the YouTubers, Star Wars Theory, even got something wrong. So she gets on Huang for not being there, watching her back. She says, "You need to stay close, watch her back." He drops the line that that's the job for a Padawan learner. And Star Wars, that's just reminding her of when she was Anakin's Padawan. No, that's foreshadowing for Sabine being the fact that she no longer has Sabine with her. Stop trying to make bigger. Some of the good, even the good YouTuber, the loving YouTubers, try to make too many connections. So that's when she gets a call from Hera about the Morgan getting freed. She goes and meets up with her, says she has the map to find Thrawn, possibly Ezra as well. And Hera says, hey, Sabine pretty much pushes her to go meet up with Sabine to get it. So then we cut to Lothal, and Sabine's kind of like, they're trying to have this big ceremony to honor the rebels, and Sabine doesn't want any part of it, because she's still the rebel, and we have a nice little speeder bike chase with her. She's getting some Star Wars punk rock music, which I liked. I thought it was pretty cool. And it fits her. It specifically does fit her. And we get some E-Wings trying to stop her to take her back to the ceremony, and she does, some rebel stuff. So, it's Sabine. That's who she is. So that's fine. That fits her character to me. And we see her go hanging out. She's now living in Ezra's old house with whatever they're called, Lothcat, something like that. And then she plays the hollow image of Ezra talking to her, saying, wishing her goodbye, and telling her to do good and stuff. Which I don't remember if that was in the show or not, if he actually left her like a hollow disc thing. So I can't recall if he did that or not. So that might have happened. Ahsoka shows up. They have their little awkward meetup, and then pretty much then it just leads right to straight into the business, talking about the map. Sabine sneaks and takes the map off the ship, which after Ahsoka told her not to, goes back to her place. She deciphers it, because now they're playing up that she's also, it's her artist, because she's always been like an artist and painter. So now they're playing up the artist eye thing. Sabine, so as we have the artist thing, we're playing up, giving her Force powers, Jedi training. Sabine is a military strategist. She's made weapons. She makes demolitions. She's a demolition expert. She's very highly intelligent, Tony Stark-ish level talent for building weapons and explosions and stuff like that. So somehow they kind of not mentioning that part at all, but she figures out the map, finds it, and then she gets attacked by some HK droids who destroy all her equipment and steal the map. And then she has a run-in with our evil female Jedi, Shin. We'll just call her Shin. And they have like a little lightsaber duel. It's all right. It's pretty good. I mean, these two might not be the greatest choreographed in the world. I just like the evil Jedi, this chick, though. I feel like she just uses some kind of nice, like, kind of evilness off her. So I think that I really like. So I'm really enjoying her character. Let's see where that character goes. Obviously, it's probably just because she's going to be Sabine's nemesis for the show. Well, Balin's going to be Ahsoka's, I would assume. Ends with Sabine getting stabbed with the lightsaber, which now everyone else gets to the joke of Qui-Gon is a wussy. He couldn't survive the lightsaber to the gut. Everybody else takes lightsabers nowadays. I do kind of feel like they are devaluing the lightsaber's attack a little bit too much when you keep having people get injured and survive like nothing. I mean, at least maybe get a glancing blow, not stabbed with it entirely. Because we know how strong these things are and how they're supposed to melt things. So maybe like getting hit with it, but not like a cut you in half hit. Like a glancing hit. Might probably be a better option. 22. That's where the first episode ends. Second episode, she's recovering in a medical center, hospital, Star Wars hospital. And Sabine mentions where she got they decoded the map, but didn't get to remember everything. They go get an HK droid. Ahsoka goes and finds the HK droid that she destroyed. It's still around, attacks her. She cuts off its head, brings back the head. Sabine plugs into the head. So using a little of her, now they finally do kind of play off her a little bit of her technical skills here. And she's able to find out that the droid was on Corellia, Han Solo's home planet. And that's where the other shipyards were, the Imperial shipyards were. So they go there and they're interacting with the guy who runs the place. And it's actually, you've seen a lot of stuff. I know he's in the house for a while, Peter Jacobson. So he's pretty much talking about how they use a lot of the old same workers that the Imperial does, and which, I mean, what he's saying makes sense. I mean, why would you not? You can't arrest every single person that worked for the Empire. I mean, people were kind of forced in the forced labor with them. So it kind of points out, well, they're just, as long as they get a paycheck, they're still good. They got to put, food on the table. So they're going there and investigating, and then they, happen to see that they're shipping off a super star destroyer hyperdrive, and Hera's like, "Where's that?" What, pointing out, trying to use, he said, "What's classified?" Where it's going, and she's like, "I'm a general. You got." That's not really how that works. Push for that, and then I think Ahsoka asked about any HK droids, to which they're like, no, we wouldn't use assassin droids. And then the protocol droid's like, wait a minute, I saw an HK droid. And then we're seeing there's some Imperial loyalists that are to Morgan there attack them. And then Ahsoka goes out the window to chase down the hyperdrive while Hera's going to get the Phantom. And that's when we get Ahsoka battles with the third dark Jedi Force user, who looks very much like an Inquisitor, has like a spinning lightsaber like an Inquisitor. So could be a leftover Inquisitor. So there's a little battle with him and an HK droid. And then finally she gets the best of him. Then he has like a little escape move by throws his lightsaber at her and takes off running to jump on the ship with Shin, because the other ship took off with the Super Star Destroyer hyperdrive. That's a mouthful. And Hera attacks it, and she can't shoot. She won't shoot it down because she don't want it to crash into the city below. But she's able to get Chopper to plant a tracker on it. And then they reunite, and they're talking about how it's not love to the Empire, it's greed, and how everybody got arrested, including the character played by Peter Jacobson, which I was not sure that he was in on the strategy. He may not have known. I mean, there was nothing. He's not really being Imperial, like a spy, Imperial spy or anything like that. And even when the droid brought up the HK droid spotted there, he finally questioned droid, like, why didn't you make a report of this? So I wasn't positive he's actually supposed to be an Imperial loyalist or not. I just feel like he was just the guy running things and people were doing stuff under his nose. So I don't think he technically should have been arrested. He might not have been a bad guy. He just might have just been oblivious to it all. But whatever. So they mentioned they got the tracker placed on it, and then Ahsoka gets the message that Sabine does her little. She's finally healed. She does her little good thing. She puts on her Mandalorian armor, cuts her hair to the short hair look that she had in Rebels, and calls up Ahsoka to say that I'm ready, because there was a line talking about, like, Kara said, well, take her back on. She goes, she's not ready. How do you know when she's ready? You know, and she knows. So Sabine does the call saying, I'm ready. So Ahsoka goes to get her. And we cut to where we're doing the Super Star Destroyers. They're building this giant ring and connecting a whole bunch of hyperdrives to it, because I guess you need all this power. It's like a Jedi hyperdrive ring. Only it's much bigger with Star Destroyer hyperdrives all around it. So I guess you need that much power to be able to get out of the galaxy, to get through out of the galaxy to the next galaxy. Call it the Eye of Sion, which people automatically are just going with, oh look, that's Darth Sion. It just could be a name throwback to him. It doesn't actually mean that they're canonizing Darth Sion. That would be cool if they did. Everybody loves the Knights of the Old Republic people. They just like to toy with that a little bit, and they just don't want to give that to people all the way. I mean, we know Darth Revan was the name of something in Rise of Skywalker, or an Imperial Faggot, but you didn't hear it mentioned, and the name was just mentioned in a book. So they kind of want to keep toying with that, but they don't want to give it to us. I don't know why. So they all come together, meet up again, and they mention that Ahsoka's coming, and you see that Balin finds it to be a pity that he has to kill Ahsoka, because like, well, there's not a lot of Jedi left that hates. It's too bad I have to kill another one. So kind of showing that he's not a horrible person. He's just, hey, you're in my way, I gotta take you out. Then we come back to where the live action reenactment of the mural scene from Rebels. They did a great job of shooting it live action. It looked very much like the scene from the show itself. So I praise them on their accuracy for that. They did a great job with that. And then it ends up with them taking off and Ahsoka calling Sabine Padawan. Sorry, that's just doesn't feel right. I just don't get it. So that's where we get on the episodes. It was a very good start for the show. I guess it was very solid. I liked. Totally enjoyed the show. I mean, I don't think it was the greatest show ever. I didn't, but I far from hated it. I'm going to give the 2-episode debut, so I'll just rank them together an 8 because it set up a very good, solid foundation. May have gone higher if they didn't do the whole Sabine Force Padawan thing, because like me, I don't see where that came from at all. That's completely out of the blue thing that they did. So to me, that kind of took me out of it a little bit, because to me, like I said, this came out of nowhere. This never existed before. But I give it an 8. It's still a solid start. And we have a new episode coming out here tomorrow. It's supposed to be 30 minutes, so it's going to be a short episode because they just don't like to settle on specific episode times. It's like all over the place. You'll get a 45-minute episode, then you'll get a 39-minute episode. Now you get a 28-minute episode. Who does that? It's like that's so weird how do they do that. So we'll see how that continues the story. I imagine we're going to get some. We know Hayden's supposed to be in the show, so imagine we're going to get some flashbacks with Anakin at some point. I just hope we get some more backstory on her and the Sabine stuff, which at least know we're going to find out about how they split up. I hope for more. Will we get the second episode of The Mandalorian where she's with Luke? I don't know how much time was supposed to have gone by. I don't think we will get that. I don't know if we'll get that or not. Because how much time was supposed to go by between those 2 episodes? They might be screwing themselves with their time frame here, because eventually, I'm assuming we're all going to go to this new universe, this another galaxy. So you kind of have to have the thing with Luke happen there at some point. So we go in the Mandalorian timeline. We got to be close to the point where Luke came and saved them from the Dark Troopers and captured Moff Gideon. So imagine we closing in on that spot in time, and we know Grogu's going to go with him. So maybe we'll get the episode with her. And I don't see. I think they're going to have some time issues here coming up, because some of them don't make sense right there. So what we know is Ahsoka and them are using the tracker to go find the Ion Scion. So what I feel about this show is I don't think we're going to get a ton of Thrawn. I agree with some other people who have said this. Is Thrawn might be safe towards the end. And I really feel like Balin's going to be the main nemesis for Ahsoka in this season. And this season will probably cultivate into her and him battle, and then a Sabine battle with the female one. The female one I could see surviving and being called over to season 2. Ray Stevenson's character, that would be interesting, because obviously he can't return for season 2 unless you recast him. So the question would be is if he survived this season or not. So I'm going to lean that he probably does not survive this season. Then our third guy, I don't know what they expect out of that guy yet. I think he might be something they might kill off somewhere in about the midpoint of the season. So he might not make it all the way through the end. The Merrick, possibly Star Killer. So I don't think we get to get random with Thrawn until pretty much the very end of the season. So I don't think they're going to rush his storyline. I think they'll save more Grand Admiral Thrawn stuff for season 2. But like I said, I imagine we're going to go to the other galaxy and start exploring some new areas, unforeseen areas. But excited how that's going to fit into the Grogu Luke Ahsoka episode of Boba Fett is the interesting part. But like I said, it's still a solid opening to the show. Totally enjoyed it. I mean, I would like the characters to be a little warmer, and especially those two over there. I guess I pointed it the wrong way. But so far, so good. Wow, this was a very long opening video that no one will probably watch. So I will cut it off here, and at least the next episode is a 30-minute one. Maybe I'll split this into two. I don't know. Until next time, Cachorro out.